So there seems to be a lot of questions about the concepts of letting go, detaching, when it comes to having sort of completed the process of the technique for manifesting what you want. And this was also confusing for me when I experienced it, but in the time frame since then, it's become very clear to me what that all means. So I wanted to add my voice to the opinions on this. Take from it what you will, but this is my experience of it. When you have properly adopted the state of the thing that you want so that it can be created in your reality, you will experience what Neville refers to as the Sabbath, which is when you know it's done, so you don't need to do it anymore. You do the work to adopt the state, and when you're in the state, you don't need to do it anymore because you're there mentally. And that's the Sabbath, when you feel the feeling of, I know it's done and I don't need to do this anymore. And at that point, I think a lot of people get very afraid that if they stop thinking about it, that, it'll be dropped and forgotten, and your subconscious mind will not remember to bring it about in your reality. But here's the thing. When you're in the proper state, the 3D world is going to reflect that to you. So there's no need to worry that if you don't think about it constantly, that it won't happen. It has to happen. You're in the state, and the world has no choice but to reflect that to you. So the feeling that you get when you have that knowing, that's detachment. It's security. Security and detachment are basically the same thing. When you are utterly secure about something, you don't worry about it. That's what detachment is in this context. Letting go is a different story, though. And people also seem to be confused about that. And all that really means is that you stop trying in your 3D conscious brain to figure out a way to get the thing, because you've already done the work. And this is the point at which you have to, if you have never experienced things playing out the way that you intend them to, then you're going to have to take it on faith. That's very difficult at first. But that's what letting go is. It means I trust my subconscious mind and the power of divine order to arrange everything so that I get from point A to point B. That's all letting go is. It doesn't mean I don't want this thing anymore at all. If you find that you don't want the thing anymore, then you don't want it anymore. It's that simple. You don't have to have the thing that you decided to manifest just because at one point you decided that you wanted it. If you don't want it anymore, it's entirely possible that you have evolved beyond the want or need for that thing. Embrace it. There's nothing better than having everything you want and sort of not really wanting anything else. That's where you just are peaceful and happy. So that's the end game. So that's detachment and letting go are two very different things, and they're both awesome. If you're experiencing either of those things, you've been released from the part of the desire that was taxing, that you've created it in your mind, you've taken on the state of the person, or you're in the process of becoming the person who can have that thing, and all you have to do is breathe a sigh of relief that you feel detached from it. Being attached to something isn't a good feeling, so embrace it. And if you have let go and you're letting everything happen, and you're feeling like you don't have a strong sense of desire anymore, don't worry about it. As long as you still have a little bit of desire for it, you can be completely sure it's going to happen. If you find that you really don't want it anymore, don't try to keep wanting it. That doesn't make any sense. So that's been my experience with detachment and letting go. And I have sort of a experiential understanding of this at this point. So take from that what you will. I hope that makes sense to a lot of people who I can tell just from what they're saying are experiencing like they've done it correctly and they're experiencing the natural, continued experience. It's a good thing. You don't have to try to detach and you don't have to try to let go. If you have to do either of those things, don't. They come naturally. They come naturally when you've adopted the state.